Here we're going to practice using the standard algorithm for division. And we're going to start with a one-digit divisor and then move down to a two-digit divisor using a multiplication chart to help us out. So grab a pen here. So the strategy that we learned for division was divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. And we talked about one way, there are a lot of little acronyms you can use to remember. If you think about McDonald's, we talked about does, McDonald's or burgers. We also talked about if you wanted to think about a family, not all families are this way, but there's a dad, a mom, a sister, and a brother. However you want to remember it, but the strategy is divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. And I always like to write my strategy out, and then I just refer to that anytime I get stuck. So we're going to look at solving this problem. 2,088 divided by 4. And with the traditional algorithm, we start off by rewriting the problem so that we have the dividend in the middle of the little house here, and then our divisor is 4. So my first step is to divide. I'm going to take my 4 and see if it goes into 2. It does not go into 2, so I'm going to stretch out my thinking and think about, does 4 go into 20? And it does. I know it goes in there 5 times, so my 5 goes above the 0, because I'm talking about 20. Then I go to multiply. 5 times 4 is 20. Draw my line. I'm going to subtract now. I get 0, and I'm bringing down the 8. Now I'm thinking about, does 4 go into 8? And it does go in 2 times, so I'm going to write my 2 above the 8. Then I'm going to multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract. I get 0, and I bring down the 8. And now I'm thinking about, does 4 go into 8? Yes, it does. It just did. So I'm going to put my 2 up here. Then I'm going to multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract, I get 0. There's nothing left to bring down, so my answer is 522. Now, one way I can check my work is I can do 522 times 4, because I know they're opposites. Division and multiplication are opposites. So here I can do 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 5 is 20, so 2,088. So that shows me that I got the correct answer. Okay, that shows me that I got the correct answer. So now what we're going to do is we are going to use the algorithm to solve a 2-digit divisor problem using a multiplication chart. And so I'm going to get rid of all of this here. And when we're solving division problems with a 2-digit divisor, it just challenges our thinking a little more to do some higher multiplication. When we have a 1-digit divisor, we can usually do all the multiplication in our head for divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. When we have a 2-digit divisor, it just gets a little bit more tricky. So we're going to take a look at this problem now. We have 173 divided by 14, and then we're going to use a multiplication chart. So when we use a multiplication chart, we basically just do the math for the problem before we get started, so that when we are dividing and multiplying and subtracting and bring down, we just save ourselves some time here. So what I'm going to do is grab a pen here. Before I start this problem, I know that my divisor is 14, so I'm going to be thinking about multiplying 14. So I'm just going to start with what I know. 2 times 14 is like 14 twice. In my head, I can do that's 28. So I'm going to start there. I know that if I did 10 times 14, I would get 140. And in my head, I can do half of 140. So 5 times 14 must be 70. Because it's half of 140, and I can do that one in my head. So I'm just going to start there for right now, and then if I need to use any of the others, I'll come back to that. So we're still going to use the divide, multiply, subtract, bring down method, and we're going to get started here. So right here I'm looking, does 14 go into 1? It does not. So then I'm thinking about 17. Does 14 go into 17? I know it goes in 1 time, so my 1 goes above the 7. Next, I'm going to multiply. So 1 times 14 is 14. I'm going to draw my line because now I need to subtract. And 7 minus 4 is 3. 1 minus 1 is 0, and I'm just going to keep that blank because it's 0. Then the next step is to bring down. So I'm going to bring it down. I like to draw an arrow because that shows that I've already brought it down. So now I have 33. And then I have to repeat my process. So I come back up to divide. So now I'm looking at, does 14 go into 33? And it does. And over here in my multiplication table, I did 2 times 14 and I got to 28. And I know that I can't get another 14 in there. So I'm going to write 2. 2 times 14 is 28. Then I'm going to subtract. So here I have to borrow. I'm going to make that a 2. 13 minus 8 is 5. And I have nothing left to bring down. So in this problem, I have a remainder left. And I'm just going to say remainder 5. Next week, we're going to talk about what we can do with those remainders. But that's an example of using a multiplication chart for a 2-digit divisor. Well, let's look at our problem. Okay, so in this problem, we have 252 divided by 12. And again, we're going to use a multiplication chart off to the side to help us. I'm going to make my pen a little thicker so that you can see the numbers better. 252. That's not working out so well. I'm going to erase that. And I think what I'll do is just make this a little bit smaller. Okay, so we're going to use a multiplication chart here again for our 2-digit divisor. And I'm going to rewrite my problem because I'm going to use the standard algorithm, which is divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. I'm going to have 252, and I'm going to divide that by 12. Okay, I'm going to fill out first my multiplication chart to help me. So I know that 1 times 12 is 12, 2 times 12 is 24. I know that 10 times 12 is 120. So then 20 times 12 would be double 120. In my head, I can do that. It's 240. If 10 times 12 is 120, I can just annex that 0. Then 5 times 12 is 60. So I just do some math off to the side to help me. I might end up using it and I might not end up using it, but it's there if I need it. So let's start. 12 into 25. When I look at my multiplication chart, I know that 2 times 12 is 24. So I'm going to multiply that. 2 times 12 is 24. Then I will subtract. I'm going to get rid of this here real quick. Then I'm going to subtract. And 25 minus 24 is 1. Then I go to bring down the 12, or bring down the 2, which makes 12. Now 12 goes into 12 1 time. 1 times 12 is 12. And then I get 0, and there's nothing left to bring down, so my answer is 21. So I didn't end up using this multiplication chart all that much with this problem, but it's still helpful to do because when you're getting to higher digits, it becomes very helpful. So that's the standard algorithm using multiplication charts with division.